This isn't a structured review today. We're just going to talk a little bit about the things that worked, about 2.6, how 2.6 is mostly a returned form, how 2.6 did a lot of things right that I've been hoping for Hoyo to really get their acts together, get us back to what matters in the world of Zenless. So let's do this. My name is Basic, and if you guys like this content, you know, I'm going to do more of it. So let's do this. So what has really worked here? I think going back to 8th Street and the addition of 404 were two great things that they added to us. It really gets us back into the groove of being in this urban, futuristic setting with all of these cool characters. We're back to seeing a lot of people that are different than what you're usually seeing when you're back in with the other monks, right? Now you're back to having robots around you. It's all about Vesper, it's about Arya, it's about Yokai, right? This new setting, or old setting I should say, but it's new again, it's so much better than just being in the Chinese old era stuff. Essentially, we're back into being in this sci-fi world. Instead of the mysticism stuff that we had before, we're no longer training to be better monks, right? And the problem that we're dealing with, now it's pop stars, it's robots, it's like, we're back to feeling futuristic about it. To me, it could be better. In particular, I really loved when they talked about what it means for an intelligent construct to be a citizen, right? It's not just about you make an AI and that's automatically a person now, according to the system, right? To be a citizen, you need to actually prove that you're not just a little bit intelligent. And I think that addition, while not very important for the story that is being told, right? Like, what does it really matter for the Hollow Zero stuff? Like, it's not that important for that, but it really helps us understand the world of Zenless way better than before. One of the things that I really enjoyed about it is that it's not just evil robots abound, right? This is not Ex Machina. This is not like 2010 Space Odyssey. The robots are not out here just to kill us. So I think that's refreshing. It's different. We don't get the evil robot at the end. Sure, we have Yokai, but even Yokai, he's not really evil in the normal sense. Now, another thing that I feel is really important for us to discuss for a little bit is that because of the characters being chibi characters, right? They're small stature characters. And I'm completely going to step away from the idea, are they adults, are they not adults? None of that actually matters. What really matters is that the characters are not dating the characters. That's the part that I care about. I really dislike that the game so many times stops telling me the story about Zenless, the story about our main characters, about Belle and Wise, and suddenly we stop it to, oh, let's go on a date, this is so fun. Like, no, please stop it. Please stop it. Like, I do not want to stop this end of the world event to go out for dinner. Separate things, please. Make sure you do that, yes, but in its own section. Right now, there's a bit too much meddling between the two types of things, and it mostly ends up just feeling like they're trying to sell us characters. It doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel like, oh yeah, it would be nice if our character really gets to know this other character. No, it just feels like, okay, they need to create some kind of infatuation of the player with the character so that the player then goes to the gacha. Like no, stop it. Let the story breathe when it needs to breathe. And if you really want to do those things, separate them. We don't need end of the world event into dating, then end of the world event. Do those things separately. Now, yes, obviously, this is likely because of legal reasons and it has nothing to do with telling a good story, but as far as I'm concerned, make them all chibi so we never have to deal with that story problem again. Like, I really don't care as long as the dating part gets completely chucked out of the main story part. I really do not want that kind of stuff in this game. This is not Love in Deep Space or whatever it's called. It's not the same kind of game. Now, that trade-off, what does it get us? It gets us a tighter narrative, right? From start to finish, we know the goals, we know what the problems are, and then we go through the story, always getting to see everything that matters. We don't stop to see the sights. No, we know what the goals are, we know what the hurdles are, and we get to see the character's growth arc. We get to know, okay, so Suna has these problems, Arya has these problems, Nagong really doesn't have problems, but she's still also there. And we get to know Vesper, and we get to know Cecilia or Cersei. Like, we get to know all of these characters, and we get to see them grow as characters, right? We don't have interruptions. We don't have jump cuts. It is so much better. It's so much tighter. It just makes the story feel better. Now, we should really talk a little bit more specifically about Yokai. And honestly, a little bit about Fairy too. Yokai is such an interesting character, because Yokai, I would define him more like a Loki kind of character, rather than a pure evil character like Hela, right? If we're thinking about Thor Ragnarok kind of character dynamics, right? Because Yokai is very mischievous the way he is presented. He is not presented like just like normal evil. He is almost comedically evil. And in that way, I think there's a really high chance that they're trying to do Yokai a bit like a lot of bad guys in shonen, where eventually they kind of get reformed, where they were doing all of this evil stuff, but they're not actually all that evil. And that totally could happen. In the same way that Yokai is interesting, I think Fairy also became a little bit more interesting too, because getting to know that Fairy actually is quite a bit older than what we thought, right? Fairy was actually involved in the fall of society back then, when Arna was killed, or supposedly was killed, when the twins got separated. We now know that these AIs have been active for quite a long time. They didn't just start. I remember watching that early video where they show all of the AIs that are essentially disconnected, they're not doing stuff. But now we know that they were actually active before, and then they stopped being active, and now they're active again. They're likely, if they're all like Fairy, not doing the same roles that they were doing back then. So that adds a lot of story that will be interesting to get to know more in the future, especially because we now know that AI characters in this world of Zenless, they're essentially the same as normal humans. The only thing that changes is how they are created. Instead of being born, they're made. But other than that, they have the exact same rights, right? The same civil liberties that all of the other characters do. And that's just interesting. It's just interesting how that will be explored in the future. Because honestly, they dipped their toe a little bit in the story with the whole yokai thing, trying to make people not like intelligent constructs. But they didn't really go too far into it, right? And hopefully, they will expand it more in the future. Now, because of all of this, I really feel like Zenless is back on track, right? 2.3 was a reprieve, a glad reprieve on that. I think 2.3 was excellent. Both Orpheus' story was good, Seed's story was good, the whole Defense Force thing was very, very good, and to me, it was just better than Spook Shack and the Temple stuff, right? Yi Xuan is a very cool character, Ye Shunguang is a very cool character, but I'm sorry, Defense Force, Krampus, the idols now, they're just, for me at least, they're just a lot more fun, because they give me a lot more of what I want from the Zenless world, right? When I'm playing Zenless, I don't want to feel like I could be playing Genshin, right? I like Genshin when I'm playing Genshin. I don't need Genshin characters inside of my Zenless game. Not that I don't like Genshin, I like playing Genshin too, but don't bring Genshin characters into the Zenless world. So that means that Zenless is back on track. Hopefully. Fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed. Hopefully Zenless will be back and we can go back to being this urban, futuristic setting I really, really like it, and I hope it really continues, because this is where I think the Zenless story really shines. Okay, I hope you guys like this video. This was a bit different for me, so please comment if you like this style of video more or less, so that I know what I should do next. My next video will be almost for sure back to going to scripted, and I'll do more of my normal stuff where I just go through all of the several problems and solutions to the several conceptual arguments that the game is making for us, right? What they are delivering in terms of game design, story design, narrative construction, right? We really want to delve into those topics. I really like talking about those stuff. But every once in a while, I might like to do it like this, just talking to you a little bit, just going through the motions. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's just rant a little bit and let's have some fun with it. So if you guys like this, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment, and really tell me what you think about this kind of content. Thanks so much.